who we could expect to be Super Bowl contenders this upcoming season, a well-rounded preview of the NFL season. The Eagles going for the repeat. It is a repeat that could be denied by Joe Burrow. It's Burrow, that's Gamache of 97 and 34. Last year, it was Jalen Hurts that won the Super Bowl at Louisiana. Same exact gematria in the reduction in both reverse ciphers. It's also the Bay that's gematria 61, and it's fitting that Jalen Hurts is a defending champion before the Super Bowl at the Bay. So this is how we look at that interpretation as well. So Jalen Hurts winning the Super Bowl at Louisiana was what happened last year. The Super Bowl will be played on the 39th day of the year. Could we see the only team that plays their games at the state of New York win the title? New York is gematria 39. Now it's the Bengals that's gematria 39. And 39 is also gematria of the Lions. We can't ignore the Lions. The Lions do have the Las Vegas factor. People get all emotional with their bets. They start hating the Lions, but they had 18 to 19 players on injured reserve. So the Lions are going to be a top contender next year. Now, it's Santa Clara that's gematria of 90. And those are the teams that have the 75 gematria. The Arizona Cardinals, they should be in the playoffs next year. It doesn't automatically mean they're a Super Bowl contender. I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, but they'll certainly be a playoff team in the year of the Super Bowl at Santa Clara. Why else would the NFL give the Cardinals the first game against a tanking New Orleans Saints team on the road? They don't waste a home game on the Saints. The Minnesota Vikings is gematria of 90. It's a very intriguing season with McCarthy. Is he going to be a surprise addition, or are they going to be missing Sam Darnold? The Indianapolis Colts have the other gematria, and Cincinnati Bengals do have the gematria of Santa Clara. Now, Santa Clara gematria of 90 is also gematria of Lamar equaling 90. The Huey P. Newton connection with the Black Panther Party. We've seen a fully black quarterback, Cam Newton, win the Super Bowl, play in the Super Bowl at San Francisco 10 years ago. A defending champion, Jalen Hurts, is 100% black. Before the season last year, I correctly predicted a fully blooded black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. It just happened to be Jalen Hurts instead of Lamar Jackson. But the Eagles are defending their championship with this year's Super Bowl at Levi's. Levi's is gematria of Eagles. Doesn't automatically mean they're going to repeat. They are just defending a Super Bowl championship with this year's addition played at Levi's. The Super Bowl's on 2-8, February the 8th. Dan Campbell is gematria of 28. The Lions lost the NFC Championship game at the Bay Area. At the Bay Area, Dan Campbell, while with the New York Giants, had a fourth quarter collapse. Joseph Burrow, it's Joseph that's gematria February the 8th. As far as the reverse of Santa Clara, it's Santa Clara that's gematria of Cincy. Buffalo is also gematria 27. Dynasty 27, I have to include Dynasty in here because the Chiefs dynasty started at Miami. And Dynasty's 27 and Santa Clara's 27. This could signal the end of the Chiefs dynasty part 1 when they don't make it to the AFC Championship game. So the Chiefs dynasty is going to be over for the time being until part 2. So Bills and Bengals have that 27 connection with the Super Bowl at the 49ers Stadium. The Bay Area is Camacho Baltimore. Baltimore is a top 3 contender. The Ravens have better coding than the Chiefs, certainly. Green Bay is Camacho of the Bay Area. We got to include Green Bay in here. Packers is also Camacho February the 8th, the day of the Super Bowl. The Packers 106 would be Camacho of the 106th season of the National Football League. This is the 106th season. So it is very important to note the 106th season of the National Football League. The Bay is Camacho of Ravens. It's worth pointing out. The Bay is also Camacho of Philadelphia, defending their Super Bowl championship. Philadelphia is Camacho of 101. Bay Area is Camacho of Jordan Love. Jordan is Camacho 26. It's also Goff. That's Camacho of the Bay. He's a Bay Area native, Jared Goff. Now, Levi Stadium 46 is basically Camacho of Joseph Burrow. Or Joe Burrow by itself. Joe Burrow is also Camacho of Bay Area 53. Notice right there. Joe Burrow is 46. Levi Stadium is 46 in Camacho. Joseph Burrow 154, Camacho of Levi's Stadium. So that's why I'm really high on the Bengals. You may have to wait next year for the Bills. Although the Bills are going to be a top contender. The Bills have to be number 2. When we look at Super Bowl 60, Bengals is Camacho of 60 in the 39th day of the year, but also it's the Buffalo Bills. That's Camacho of 60. We have to include the Buffalo Bills. They have to be top 2 in the conference. But I think the Las Vegas factor means the Buffalo Bills win the important regular season matchups, and the Buffalo Bills are going to be the top bet again to make it to the Super Bowl. And I think if Eagles destroy the Cowboys, and the Eagles are going to be a popular bet for the public. So these are the things that I believe are going to be working against those teams. San Francisco's 50. The Bengals did finish 5-0 to end the season last year. It's worth pointing that out too. Santa Clara, California, Gematria of 86. Not much 86 connections I can recognize for the time being. And now the city of Santa Clara, 127, is Gematria of Joe Burrow. Now, Denver Broncos did play in the only Super Bowl at Levi Stadium. Denver Broncos is Gematria of Levi Stadium, and that's, of course, your Gematria of Joe Burrow. So, Levi Stadium, Denver Broncos. I want to pay attention to 154. And again, best quarterback in football. That's what Joe Burrow, that's the significant thing about Joe Burrow. So, you got to pay attention to the Denver Broncos coding as well. Got to pay attention to that. And when you identify the list of the teams that are going to be the contenders in the conference, then I think that's where you need to look at the NFC Championship game record. So Philadelphia Eagles, let's say if they do make it back 10th appearance, 6th win, like the 106th season. Eagles are 5-4 in the NFC Championship game, like Gamache of the previous game from last year at Vegas. And now you've seen the 54 on the other side of the calculator. Or actually, you've seen what 6-4 is about. Five and four, 6-4 would be gematria of 49ers stadium. Actually, 5-5 would be gematria 49ers if they lose in the conference championship game. It's 49ers, that's gematria 64. And now, home teams don't win the Super Bowl unless if it's during a pandemic year. So this automatically discounts the 49ers. But just in case if they do, but now Eagles could remain at 5-4 with next year's the following season. The Super Bowl is going to be played at Inglewood, California. In Inglewood, California is gematria 54. Inglewood, California is also gematria Bills if they don't make it this year. Does Josh Allen have any Bay Area coding? Josh is gematria 52. You figure one of these two Super Bowls at California, Josh Allen should win. Josh Allen is gematria California. It's just a matter of Super Bowl 60 or Super Bowl 61, because Super Bowl 61 is going to be at the Los Angeles area, and Joshua Allen is gematria Los Angeles. And the other quarterback with Los Angeles gematria would be Lamar Jackson. And 37 is Detroit. It's just a matter of defending NFC champion, or do they make it Super Bowl 61? The Detroit Lions is gematria 61. So if the Packers do win the conference, or even the Eagles, the thing that could be working against the Lions is the 61. Although they could be defending NFC champion in the year of Super Bowl 61. But Detroit Lions do have gematria of, in the reverse of 61, Louisiana is gematria 61. Maybe the Lions make it the season after Louisiana. Could we see the Detroit Tigers perhaps make it to the World Series this year? And could the Lions be playing the Super Bowl immediately after? Also, Packers coach Matt LaFleur is gematria 39. Matt LaFleur is gematria the Super Bowl on the 39th day of the year. I don't want to ignore that. Matt LaFleur, 39. The Lions, 39. Everyone's wondering, is this going to finally put McDermott over the line? McDermott is also gematria of the Super Bowl on the 39th day of the year. The Lions, 39. The Bengals, 39. And let's include John Harbaugh. So we have 3 contenders in the AFC that can make it to the Super Bowl on the 39th day of the year. Oh, don't you want to love the Arizona Cardinals team? 105 previous seasons. Arizona Cardinals, baby. Oh, yeah, I can support your team, Tom. We got no chance of playing in this Super Bowl. 0. Marvin Harrison Jr., though, but Arizona's another 39. We got to include all the 39s in there. New York Giants got no chance. New York 39, but the only team from the state of New York. I mean, this is why this just means Arizona's a playoff team in the year of the Super Bowl played on the 39th day. They're a playoff team after 105 previous seasons. Yeah, they're a playoff team. Notice how Arizona hosted Super Bowl 42. I know people say Kansas City under 22 in the Super Bowl at San Francisco, but I mean, after that Super Bowl, how many teams make it to the Super Bowl after getting blown out? You think about the Denver Broncos at New Jersey. The next year, they didn't make it to Super Bowl 49. Did they lose against Andrew Luck that year? I forgot. I want to do full name Gematria. This is a pretty extensive preview. This is the first time I've done anything like this. Jared Thomas Goff 67 is Gematria of Levi's. Jared Goff is 72. I think 72, was Santa Clara in one of these lenses. Santa Clara 72 is also Gematria of Jared Goff. So, Jordan Love is Gematria of Inglewood, CA in abbreviations. Jordan Love is Gematria Bills. So could we see Buffalo Bills against the Packers instead of like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Buccaneers is the other team with the cipher of Super Bowl 61 at Los Angeles. And let's include Baker Mayfield, okay? Mayfield's Gematria 39, so, I mean, Bucs are still going to be good. Mayfield should be in the playoffs, I think. Mayfield's another guy with 39 Gematria. But it just seems to me that Joe Burrow has got the coding to be the chosen guy, and basically, and now the Packers have 37 wins in the playoffs. Let's say if they win the Super Bowl with 41 wins, and Super Bowl's 41 in Gematria, if let's say they don't get the number 1 seed, but they win every game, then or the 28th loss at some point, like the Super Bowl on 2-8. Either before or after the Super Bowl. Green Bay Packers, they could improve to 4-6 in the conference title game to make it to Levi's Stadium. Levi's Stadium's 46. So that's why Green Bay is top 2 on my list to make it in the NFC. The Detroit Lions could make it to 1-2 like Gematria facing Joe Burrow if we get the Lion-Tiger Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills, it's like titles 21, they're at 21 playoff wins, so the logic kind of makes sense. You can't ignore that, but it's worth pointing out. It's worth pointing out. And now, if the Bengals played 26 previous playoff games in Bay Area's 26, and Joe Burrow wins the Super Bowl and the Bengals' 30th playoff win of their history, that actually makes a lot of sense too. Everything's going to be lined up with Joe's Gematria for the time that the Bengals win the Super Bowl. Joseph Lee Burrow, 75. Now 75, I think, is Gematria Santa Clara. City of Santa Clara's Gematria of the Buffalo Bills, Gematria 60. The City of Santa Clara, it seems like every single lens of Santa Clara's and Levi's connecting to Joe Burrow. City of Santa Clara 75. City of Santa Clara 60 and the Buffalo Bills Gematria 60. We've got to be careful there. A team with 39 Gematria will be playing the Super Bowl. Now the Bills, this is their 56th season in the NFL, but wouldn't it make more sense if the Bills make it to the Super Bowl in their 57th season in the NFL? Because 57 is the big championship number. It is 57 that's Gematria's Super Bowl, so the Bills I still like for Super Bowl 61. Their 66th season overall in titles, Gematria's 66. So the Bills have to include them as a contender. They've got the 39 Gematrias with New York and McDermott, though. Pegula's Gematria 62, so defending champion before Super Bowl 62, but Pegula is also Gematria Bay Area. Pegula's Gematria February the 8th. Kim Pegula is Gematria of the Bay Area 41. We can't ignore that. Terry Pegula, 59 previous Super Bowls. Terry's Gematria of the Bay Area. It's also the Ford family of the Lions. That's Gematria of Bay Area by itself. Or the Bay, it would be Gematria of Ford. Green Bay Packers Inc. is Gematria of the Bay Area. They're technically the ownership group of. Now the Super Bowl was 24-14, 34 points. Broncos won with 24 points. That's another reason why I like the Bengals. Bengals without the still equals 39 in the reverse cipher. October 14 is the birthday of Jared Goff. $117, $118. There ain't nothing much that we can. Another Super Bowl appearance for Jared Goff in the Super Bowl. Try to make it back and win it. 3 playoff wins. City of Santa Clara's Gematria 75. Seven and 5. When the Lions don't get the number 1 seed, they can make it to Santa Clara for him to have a 7-5 playoff record. Now, Lamar sucks. He's going to win the regular season, but this guy's a scripted choke artist. He can be 4-5 and fall to 4-6 like Levi Stadium is 46. So, it's working against Lamar Jackson. This is why they can't be a top 2 contender in their conference. Lamar is a scripted choker. There's no helping Lamar Jackson. He should win a playoff game, though. 4-5 and fall to 4-6. He could perhaps. I won't be surprised to see the Ravens as the number 1 seed. They lose the conference title game against the Bengals. But this is why the Packers are very compelling, though. This is why Packers have to be number 2. Buffalo Bills could fall to 4-4, maybe go for 5-4 like Gematria of Inglewood if they get fucked again. And then Allen's Gematria 44. Bay Area is 53. The Chiefs should remain at 5-3. If they make it back, they'll fall to 5-4. Baltimore Ravens, it could be 2-4. 3-3 is Camacho masonry, although this team is cooked. Cincinnati Bengals, they could make it to 4-1 the conference championship game should they make it. Super Bowl's 41 and Green Bay's 41 and Baltimore's 41 if they play Baltimore in the AFC championship game. Baltimore's come out to 95 points that they've scored. Burrow's gonna beat him. Lamar sucks. Burrow's gonna beat him. Yeah, he sucks. He just sucks in the playoffs. He's a regular season player. They're making Burrow look to be good. You don't have some playoff losses to dampen the playoff record. You have a couple years where he misses the playoffs. That's how the Bengals games are scripted. 6-2, 7-2 like Camacho Santa Clara, 8-2 like Joe Montana being the 82nd pick, and if he goes to 9-2, that's basically post the 92 Camacho I was thinking about. City of Santa Clara, California is Camacho of the Ravens. Let's include that too. Alright, Joe Burrow. In the birthday sequence. December 10. 10 years ago, the Super Bowl was at the Bay Area. I mean, 60 days is birthday before Super Bowl 60. Threw 60 touchdowns in a single season. College football, 8 weeks and 4 days is Camacho, the Green Bay Packers. Jared 97 is also Camacho Burrow. Next year's Super Bowl's on the board. Jordan Love in reverse is Camacho of Levi Stadium. It's worth pointing that out. It's worth pointing it out because, again, that same Camacho is Joe Burrow. So overall, if top 2 contenders in each conference is, it's got to be Bengals and the Bills. It's got to be, it will have to be Lions and Packers on the NFC side. Maybe Lions beat the Packers. Lions got to beat the dominant team. Detroit abbreviations is Camacho of his 11th playoff game. When we're talking about Joe Burrow in the Bengals 16 playoff losses. The Detroit Lions is Camacho Bay Area 86. A synopsis of what we can expect for the season. Josh Allen, he lives closer to the LA area. 27 games. Santa Clara's 27 games with Wyoming. So 26 starts. But if you do 44 touchdowns with Wyoming, next year's Super Bowl is going to be played on the 44th day of the year. So again, Super Bowl 61 on the 44th day of the year, and Allen is 44. That's what makes sense for Josh Allen for next year. Lamar, the regular season player, going to win the regular season matchups. 8-6 like Bay. Could we see Baltimore 96? This kind of thing we'd be talking. Although if it's Bills Bengals in the conference title game, he's going to fall to 9-7, losing against Burrow in the conference title game. It's Burrow that's Camacho 97. So that's what would happen if we see Bengals against Bills.